Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Republican, and I'm here to give you my general impressions of Week 1 of the Halo 5 beta. This video encompasses the maps Truth and Empire, covering only the Slayer game type. I'll have a video up for the second week updates, probably around by Friday. So the first map that I'd like to talk about is Truth. This is a remake of Midship. That map in and of itself has seen a number of recreations throughout different Halo titles. Here, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. The sword spawn is in the same place. There are SMGs littered across the map, DMRs, battle rifles. It's a pretty fun map. Compared to the other map in the beta, which is Empire, this one I didn't feel inclined to use my Spartan abilities very much, with the exception of the left and right thruster ability. I didn't feel the need to stabilize or to ground pound. I mean, ground pound here was actually pretty easy to do. There are a lot of places to jump off of where you'll get enough height. But the abilities I probably used most on this map were probably thruster pack and sprint, and maybe charge. But the other three, I didn't use so much. Control of the sword spawn on this map is very important. It'll be hard to get to, because as soon as the countdown timer starts, there's an announcer that'll come on and say, energy sword ready in like 30 seconds. As soon as basically that counter goes off, there's kind of a mad dash for it, like always. And the sword spawn is, as always, kind of exposed. You'll have to be very quick in getting in and out and getting that sword if you want to be able to get out and do any damage with it at all. Besides the sword spawn, you'll see a lot of action actually along the edges of the map, the sides, rather than in the center. This isn't necessarily hugely different from Midship. It's been a while since I've played it. Midship would see a little bit more action in the center than you do here. Important thing to note, your shields in the Halo 5 beta are actually really weak. Very weak. And that's probably to compensate for the left and right thrusters and your general increased mobility. So hiding behind things is pretty important, or at least keeping moving at all times. Moving on to Empire, here we have a urban map that is basically a jungle gym. Sort of to showcase your new movement abilities. In this map, I found myself being way more effective using my clamber. Stabilize was a bit useful, and ground pound there were plenty of opportunities to use that. There are sort of platforms in the middle of the level that you can jump one to the other. There'll be a lot of sort of island hopping, I guess you could say, between edges in order to get the jump on your enemy. And it really feels like this map was designed for a movement ability showcase. I don't like the power weapons on this map. While there are plenty of close quarters weapons like SMGs, there are also battle rifles lying around. I'm not sure about DMRs. The problem I have really again with the power weapons on this map, and it's two sniper rifles, and the map is it's really cluttered. There's not enough open space. I mean, I might just be a bad sniper. It just doesn't strike me as a very good sniper map. I would rather see shotguns put in there, maybe a needler. All that said, I at first didn't like this map, not very much. And that was when, first day I played, I didn't really get the abilities all that much. I was like, why would you use these? They don't really seem to add much. But with that sort of layered level design, it led to some pretty interesting moments. It felt like a jungle gym once I got the handle of things. Going up and down, getting the jump on people from above. Plenty of opportunities to use ground pound, and if you land that, it's an instant kill, by the way. If you land that, it's probably one of the coolest feelings in the world. That and an insta-kill shoulder charge. Just brutal animations. Yeah, but out of the two of them, I definitely prefer Truth, but I liked Empire more than I initially thought I would. Moving on to movement abilities. Now I suppose it's appropriate, now that we've covered both Empire and Truth. You've got a bunch of new abilities that'll help you get around the map and, in one case, extend the range of your aim. So you've got your thruster pack, which is activated by hitting the B button now by default. You can activate it in any direction, except for maybe back. I'm not entirely sure about that. And that'll basically act as a quick dodge, like in Halo 4 or Halo 4's thruster pack or Reach's evade. It's much quicker than thruster pack was in Halo 4. It's more immediate, of course, because it's now a core game mechanic. It's really helpful. It saved my life on a number of occasions, and at the same time, there were also a number of occasions where it didn't, because I didn't use it quite right. It's not something you're going to see people spamming, and it doesn't really take much away from sort of regular Halo movement. Not necessarily a new ability, but one that's been tweaked for Halo 5 is Sprint, which is now unlimited, unlike in Halo 4, and of course unlike in Reach, where it had a very specific meter on it. Here, whenever you sprint, your shield does not recharge, and at first, that doesn't sound like that much of a drawback to unlimited sprint. But it is. It really, really is. If you are in a firefight and you see an opponent sprinting, especially after a prolonged fight with you, that's your time to really put it in gear, because either they're running low on ammo or their health is well, their shields are probably nearly gone, if not gone entirely, or maybe even they're just panicking. And that is a good opportunity to get in at least some body shots, maybe a headshot, and just take them out immediately. It makes them commit to either running away or to fighting. You will not see somebody sprinting into a firefight unless they are hoping to blindside you with a shoulder charge. Next on the movement abilities in particular is Clamber. This acts as sort of like a barely missed jump forgive me button. If you jump towards to get on top of a box or a ledge and you sort of whack your head into the ledge itself, if you quickly tap A, you can pull yourself up sort of in a way that you would see in, unfortunately, Call of Duty. But unlike that game, there's no actual double jump. The overall impact of this ability is relatively small, I'd say. Your jump height is still pretty high, especially compared to other shooters. You probably get on top of most things you want to get on top of in the middle of a firefight in one jump without a clamber. But what clambers allow you to do is to really reach those things that might be kind of sneaky. Sneaky passageways or sneaky places to maybe camp with your battle rifle or DMR. And it can sometimes, cause an enemy to get caught off guard. Suddenly you're in a window, just right on top of the windowsill when, you were just outside, maybe crouch walking to stay off of their detection meter. And that existed to a certain extent in other Halo games. For me, Clamber acts more like an atmospheric thing. It makes more sense for that animation to be there than for it not to. The benefits of it actually at all are small, but if used right, maybe they could be important. Alright, next we're going to talk about Stabilize. This is done pretty easily and has sort of some very specific uses. What happens is, if you are in mid-air and you hold left trigger, which is your new smart scope or aim down sights button, you will hover momentarily in place in the sky so that you can take a shot. Once you do, you will fall to the ground, and this can be helpful in maybe catching people off guard. It's helped me in week 2 with a certain special game type that just came out with taking people off guard. But it makes you vulnerable as well. I mean, you're basically a sitting duck. You can't move anywhere while you're hovering. So it's be careful when you choose to use and move. The next 2 abilities are Shoulder Charge and Ground Pound. First, Shoulder Charge is activated only when you've reached your top speed while you're sprinting, and this will be indicated by a change in your reticle. When that happens, you can hit right bumper and you'll enter a third-person camera and sort of just you'll shoulder charge into somebody. And if you hit them from behind, it'll kill them immediately. If you hit them from the front, it'll take their shields out. It's sort of disorienting when you come out of it, because it accelerates you pretty fast. So I would recommend using it as more of a back attack option than a front one, because your opponent has the upper hand, basically, when you bounce him with it. The second to last ability that they grant you in Halo 5 is called Ground Pound. And you can only use this once you've jumped a certain specific height in the air, I don't know the exact number, and you hit the crouch button. Once you do, there will be a reticle that appears on the ground. If you have a valid target for your ground pound, it'll be white, and you can aim it using the right stick. If you cannot find a valid target, or you have not jumped high enough, that reticle will be red. And if you release the stick when it's red, it will cancel the ground pound. If you release it when it's white, it'll shoot you down the ground and crush anything that's in your way. A near hit, ground pound will reduce an enemy's shields to 0. A direct hit will kill them immediately. Alright, I think this is the last one unless I've missed any. I'll hear hell about that later, maybe. The last ability, the elephant in the room, is Smart Scope, or Aim Down Sights. I have not personally done any particular research into whether or not this actually increases your accuracy. Video evidence at Halo Follower tells me that it does, at least to a certain extent. But I didn't find myself using it very much. When you hold left trigger, it'll basically do what amounts to an old, traditional Halo scope, only sort of in the 3D world. Instead of putting a filter over your screen, it just zooms in. The de-scoping is back in the game, so you can't really use it in firefights, or close-range firefights anyway, or else you'll just be getting knocked in and out of it constantly. So hipfire still takes precedence almost all the time. It's nice. It's okay, I guess. I found it kind of weird to be using the sniper rifle that way and the DMR that way. It just feels weird. And it doesn't necessarily feel like I have a reason to use it. It's odd. It's just an odd ability. I'll probably get used to it as the beta goes on, but that's my thoughts on that. Alright, so that's my general thoughts on week 1 of the Halo 5 beta. In summary, I guess you could say it's Halo. I'm satisfied with it so far. We'll see how varied the online arena multiplayer gets to be when they release the other game types moving forward and other maps. If you are skeptical and you own an Xbox One, I would suggest buying the Master Chief Collection before the beta's over. Try it out, seriously. That product's already worth the $60 for 4 titles anyway. If you don't have an Xbox One and you are very skeptical after Halo 4, I would say pay very close attention. Scoping is not really as bad as people say. It's almost kind of pointless. It's an addition. That's all it is. It's an option for people to use. They aren't forcing you to be a COD baby. But yeah, pretty good so far. Thanks for watching. This has been Republic.